Okay, in this video we're going to do square roots on the Caliber CVS scientific calculator. I got this at CVS, relatively inexpensive calculator. Okay, so square roots. How do we do square roots? Like for example, the square root of 8. We can do that by pressing the square root button and then typing in an 8 and then equals, and gives us an answer of 2.828. Now keep in mind, when you do the square root, there's no number right here, but that has an index of 2, okay? Let's say you want to take the third root of 81, let's say. It does have a third root, which is over here. So you say shift, third root, let's say 81. You press equals, and it gives you 4.326. Third roots, one of the great things about third roots is that you can take negative numbers, like for example, negative 8, the third root of negative 8. So you press shift, the third root, and then you press negative and then 8. Notice that the answer, previous answer is right here. We can just leave it there still. You press equals, and it gives you negative 2, all right? Sometimes you'll have roots that are not already programmed in the calculator, like the fifth root of 125. How do you do that? Well, in that case, you have this, you can barely see it here, but it's x root, the x root. So in this case, you would type in a 5, shift, this, what they call a caret key, and then 125, and you press equals, and it gives you an answer of 2.6265. Okay. Now, you know, sometimes when you're dealing with square roots or roots, right, you'll have things with powers that, you know, usually we deal with powers like 8 squared, right? You press 8, you press squared, you press equals 64. But it turns out that sometimes you'll have fractions as powers, and they turn out to be things that look like square roots. In this case, it is. What happens is this 2 will be the index of a root. And then you have the 8, and then you have the 1. So this goes to the index, and then you have 1 right there. So this is 8 1/2 is really the square root of 8. So if you press 8, right, you can use what they call a caret, the caret key, to give you the power. And then you have to use parentheses, okay? And you can do 1 divided by 2, close parentheses, and then equals. I know it takes a little while to figure out. 2.828. And we already did the square root of 8 right here, the square root of 8. I know this looks kind of weird, right? It's just the square root of 8. The 2 goes away in the 1 and gives you the same answer, right? But putting the parentheses is very important. Another way you can do is 8, right? Caret. You still need to put the parentheses. And then 1 ABC, 2, and close parentheses. And then equals, and it gives you the same answer, okay? So you got to be aware of the capabilities of the calculator when you do something like that, when you put parentheses. So when you work with the square root button, you know, you got to press the square root button and then type in the answer, and you press equals. It has the square root, it has the third root, and it has x root. And then you have your caret key. You also have an x squared button, right, which we've demonstrated already. We'll say this one thing, negative 8 squared, let's say. Negative 8, and then you square it, equals negative 64, because what happens here is the calculator is saying 8 times 8, and then it has a negative outside, negative 64, all right? And there's an x cubed button. So here, if we have 9 to the third power, we type 9x to the third equals 729, right? 729. You could have put negative numbers in there too. Negative 9 to the third, negative 9 to the third power, right? And that gives you negative 729, right? So square roots and powers, they tend to be in the same type of page. You know, you can have things like, let's say 1/2 to the power of 2/3. Okay. So in this one, you put parentheses. 1 divided by 2 you could, close parentheses. And then the power, open parentheses, 2 divided by 3, close parentheses, gives you an answer of 0.6299. Can you do it another way? Sure. You can put parentheses, 1 ABC2, close parentheses. You still need to use the caret key, open parentheses, 2 ABC3, close parentheses. It took a little while, but it gives you the same answer. Okay. So that gives you an idea, an introduction to doing the roots and the powers. And one other thing too is that you can do things like the square root of 5 minus the square root of 9, right? Square root of 5, take away the square root of 9 equals, and you can see it says negative 0.763, right? Or you could do addition. It won't simplify these problems, but at least you can get a final answer as well. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe. Please tell your friends. Please tell your teacher. If you're inclined, please give a thanks to support the channel. And I hope you have a great semester, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.